Chapter 6, Winners and Losers. Spare a thought for Sarah Skinner. By May 1854, Ballarat was under siege. The wet season had come early. The summer of 1853 had been dry, and now the heavens had opened themselves upon an impermeable earth. Miners who had slept rough during the warm months were suddenly vying for beds in the boarding house tents that had been popping up as a result of the feminine exodus from the township. Bad weather meant good business for entrepreneurial women. But Sarah Skinner was not one of those women. Sarah Skinner lay on her own rude cot in her own flimsy tent, listening to the wind and rain lash the useless fly as she struggled to deliver her baby into this sodden world. In a delirium, driving rain can sound like fire. For Sarah, everything burned. Her brow ran with sweat. The tender, swollen skin of her vulva stretched like taut canvas. A final push sent a searing tear through her perineum. She screamed, the baby wailed. Their tandem howl floated into the spectral blaze of the night. William Skinner stood by, frantic with worry, as ineffectual as a handkerchief in a tempest. I'm Clare Wright. My book is The Forgotten Rebels of Eureka, and I'm proudly part of the Melbourne Writers' Festival. This book is about that seminal moment in Australian history where miners blockaded themselves behind a barricade in Ballarat in 1854 in defence of their rights and their freedoms. This is a story that has been told over and over again for generations for the past 150 years, taught in schools on every national curriculum, but it has only been told from one side, and that is from the perspective of the men who were there. In fact, you wouldn't have expected that there were any women there and who were part of that rebellion at all until my book has come along. I actually went back to the same set of archives that previous historians have used, but I went armed with a different set of questions, and therefore you come up with different answers. Because the sheer fact of the matter was that a third of the Ballarat population were women and children. So there's evidence of their presence everywhere. In the diaries, in the letters, in the correspondence of the people who were there at the times, in newspapers, in government reports, in official documents. They are everywhere, and so what I started to do was to look for their presence and then wanted to understand their presence. And I needed to understand not only what they were doing there and how they got there, but why they came, what their motivations were. It's wonderful to be part of the Melbourne Writers' Festival because I'm a hometown girl. Melbourne is my place. I've lived with the Melbourne Writers' Festival as part of my creative and intellectual universe for as long as I can remember.